everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Unraveled and Rising. Myself and Kimberly Diaz. Hey, Kimberly.
Hey, how are you?
I so wanted to record from Los Angeles last week when we were together in Los Angeles, but we just couldn't make it happen. I was going to bring my new camera, but I realized it has lithium batteries in it,
Oh,
which you can't fly on an airplane with. And I'm like, oh, crud, maybe I bought the wrong one. If I can't take it on an airplane, what's the point? And it was not a cheap camera. So, okay, maybe that was a mistake. But, live and learn. So, thanks everybody for coming back. If you are coming back to either listen or watch, we love that. Thank you. And if it's your first time, welcome. We're so happy to have you here and hope that you get something out of this or maybe a previous episode that we've already recorded. That would be great.
yes.
We are on YouTube as well as Spotify. You can listen to the audio there. And then we do have an Instagram and a TikTok social media channel as well. Kimberly, so what I wanted to talk about today, because this triggered for me last week when we were in Los Angeles. First of all, let me just say that even prior to going to Los Angeles, I was already thinking about it. So I probably did that to myself.
Okay.
And it really just focuses around kind of your identity and the story you tell about yourself or you feel about yourself. And it could be in regards to some way you're thinking about something, or it could be physically, or it could be lots of different ways how you see yourself. One thing I say to myself every day is that I'm Michelle Kavanaugh. I'm a compassionate and heart-centered businesswoman who runs $1 million business. And I forget the exact thing, but I write it every morning and I can't think of it off the top of my head exactly how I word it. But basically the identity of me being a business owner who runs $1 million business, helping small business owners transform their own businesses, kind of that type of scenario. But what I don't do, and I probably should do, is write something about how I feel about myself in my physical appearance, because that's the one thing that I still struggle with. I don't know if you have that or have ever had that. But those of you who don't see Kimberly except from here up, she's very beautiful and very fit. And so when you're standing next to, I'm short and wide, and Kimberly is, got these beautiful legs and has these beautiful, I never show my legs ever. I have not worn a pair of shorts or shown my legs in public for probably 10 years. That's facts.
Okay.
When the fact that I was thinking about that when we were going to Los Angeles, I was thinking about that in my brain before we even got there, which I think is interesting. But I wanted to have this conversation today about that. I know I'm not the only person. I know I'm not the only one that hates taking photos of herself and looking at those photos, because I see myself and go, that's what I look like. And it basically depresses me when I see it. And so I want to talk about that. And I don't know, you could talk about it from your identity. I know you've been having some transformations with your identity, with your daughters and things like that. So that's really going to be our focus today. So I don't know how you feel about that.
And I think maybe a little setup about where we were and who we were around, because talk about identity shifts.
Yeah.
The people that we were with are very different people now too.
Yes, that's true. I think for many people too, when, a lot of us, when we look at ourselves in the mirror every single day, the first thing we see about ourselves is what we look like. Obviously, everything that's going on inside of us and all the identity things we have in regards to our roles and things like that is also there. But I think the first thing you see is what you look like. And of course, as women, we are subjected to our looks from a very young age. We're conditioned that way. It's sex role socialization, where, girls are supposed to be pretty and you get complimented for being pretty. You get complimented on your clothes. You get complimented on your hair. All those kinds of things are based on our looks. Women are over sexualized. You see these images in social media and on TV and wherever, that the prettier you are, the farther you get in life, the better you do in life as a female, the more power you have. All those kinds of things are, been around forever, ever, and ever, and ever. This is nothing new. And when you're in an environment where the women in your life are insecure about themselves, that transfers over to you as well. And I definitely had that. My grandmother was insecure. My mom was insecure about herself physically, and that has transferred over to me. Now, we talk about the growth and the Unraveled and Rising. I'm very aware of it, which is the positive side. that
Yeah.
I'm aware that I'm doing it. But I think we're going to do a challenge at the end of this for me and for others out there who maybe have something similar going on. How can I challenge myself to grow in this area? That's what I'm going to work on. And I think Kimberly's going to help me with that too.
Yeah.
Kimberly, what are you kind of struggling with from an identity perspective that's been going on with you?
Um, I too, for many, many years, struggled just looking in the mirror. I was overweight. I felt ugly. I was raised by somebody that was very insecure. Um, and so, like you said, that just kind of rolls off you. And until probably about 4 years ago, when I stopped drinking and I really started to put myself first, that's when I really noticed the shift. And that's when I was able to look at myself in pictures and not go, ooh, and cringe. And, there's still those ones that I'm like, all right, not delete, delete, delete. I mean, there certainly are those ones,
Yeah.
but it's gotten much better since I've been working on myself from the inside as well as on the outside.
Yes.
And then, I shared recently an identity that I let go of, which was the identity of estrangement, which was an identity that was put upon me that I guess I just thought I had to accept and I had to take on. And then, after doing a 3-day with Tony Robbins, realized, screw that. I don't have to take that on. I didn't choose that. I had no control over that. And I released that. And I cannot tell you how much just freer I feel, how peaceful, I don't think about it anymore. My kids' choices are theirs. I wish them all the best. Even when memories come up with my grandkids and stuff, it used to just really hurt. One came up the other day and I said, I hope these kids are doing well, because I honestly do. But I have no control over that. And I no longer, and that's no longer my identity. And when I look in the mirror now, there's still times I'm like, oh, because of course you look at what's not good or not perfect, but
And,
then
and aging. Yeah.
yeah,
Like, ugh.
and sagging and going south. But having that awareness and going, no, reframing that, I'm beautiful, I'm strong, I'm, it's not even, I'm healthy. It's even choosing the words that I use versus I'm skinny or I'm, my goal truly is to be strong. I don't want to fall and break a hip. I
Yeah.
don't want to fall and break an arm. I take care of seniors and their families every single day, and I see it all the time. So I think to myself, what would my 85-year-old self wish that I did now? And I'm trying to do those things now. I don't know if I'll be here when I'm 85, but I'll be here tomorrow. But I'm trying to plan accordingly. And the other thing, working with Dr. Amen, he talks about, your brain and really brain envy, really loving your brain and thinking about, and I do this now, before I say something, before I put something in my mouth, is this good for my brain or is this bad for my brain?
Yeah.
And if it's bad for my brain, then I'm not going to do it.
Yes.
So it's making those personal choices and decisions, and it's putting yourself first. For me, anyway.
Yes. I think when you begin to believe that I'm not attractive enough, or I'm too much, or, I'm not enough, or whatever, it just doesn't affect how you look at yourself. It really shapes how you walk into rooms. It shapes the opportunities you take, the relationships you get into, and kind of the voice that you listen to in your head. And I think the powerful part is that this identity is not fixed. That identity, that thought process, that story you're telling yourself is not fixed. It's influenced by what you choose to believe about yourself. And I have chosen to believe at times that I'm not attractive. And, I'm getting older and my hair is getting thinner. And like you said, sagging and all the kinds of things. I've chosen to believe at times that I'm not attractive enough. And the thing that's interesting about that is when I feel it, I can say to myself, Michelle, that's bullshit. Come on, girl. And so
Yes.
I am able to talk to myself when I'm in those states of mind. But I think it would be really powerful for me to start taking photos of myself, and not putting filters on them. And putting it out there, because really your appearance is such a small piece of who you are. Your character, your resilience, your kindness, your intelligence, your creativity, how you present yourself in the world, all of that has much more weight than just your physical being. We know that about we logically, and we know that. But kind of when you shift, like thinking about what you look like to who you really are as a person, I
Yes.
think that's a powerful thing. And this is a weird thing to say, but I say, Michelle, there are all kinds of women out there, all different sizes, and all of them are happy, healthy. All of them are in happy, healthy lives and relationships with others. And why do you feel like that can't be you?
Right.
Why do you feel like you don't deserve that, or you're not the same as everybody else, in regards to that? And it's really not really about the relationship as much as it is about how I see myself, right? And when you're conditioned to think that everything has to be a certain way and you have to look a certain way and all of that, it's a struggle sometimes to switch that out. But I am going to challenge myself at the end of this.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so that was something I was thinking about prior to going. I was thinking, oh gosh, what am I going to wear? How am I going to do this? And you know, that was something
Well,
I thought.
and we did have a little bit of pressure though going into it,
Yes,
as far as being told that we had to wear a dress the one evening.
which I
So
never
where
wear.
we
I never wear dresses ever.
yeah, so we went to LA for an event called Rockstar Networking.
Yeah,
And it was also a nonprofit charity collecting money for foster kids. But
yeah,
there was literally rock stars there.
yes,
Rock
literally.
stars from Guns N' Roses, from Alice
Yeah,
Cooper, from
yeah,
Jane's Addiction, from Casey Kasem's daughter, the Phantom from Phantom of the Opera. There was literally rock stars there. So we got to meet these people. There was bassist from Rob Zombie and Ozzy Osbourne, but what I really liked about it was, well, the stories were hilarious,
yes,
that they shared back in the day. But just about all of them, if not all of them, no longer drink. They're doing philanthropy work. They're giving back to the community. They're making an impact in the world. And some of them look pretty rough because they had those years of
yeah,
partying so hard, right? But they don't care. They
yeah.
are
They don't care.
making a difference in the world. So we were literally next to these people, taking pictures with them, learning from them. So I mean, there was that kind of pressure going into it. Plus, we didn't know who was going to be there for sure, and
Yeah,
it was exciting though too. But it did kind of there was some pressure. I think
I
just
found it
going,
interesting too that their identity as a rock star is what caused them. They acted in a way that they thought rock stars acted when they were young, and that got a lot of them into trouble with alcohol and drugs and the party lifestyle that you assume a rock star has. And I thought
yeah,
that was interesting that that was their identity, because they thought that that's what they were supposed to do. And as you said, many of them or all of them had to switch that
yeah,
identity up because that wasn't good for their health. You know what I mean? So that
right.
is, that exact concept was talked about over and over again at this event.
Yes, yes,
So
yes. And in teachable moments like
yeah,
Blaskow, talking about how to kind of be loud, and he has that platform because of who he is, but taking advantage of it and using it for good
yes,
versus just all about him.
yes, agreed.
So I mean that was the whole thing was very cool. It was, when I
Yeah,
go back and read through my notes and stuff, I definitely learned some things. It wasn't just about hanging out with the rock stars by any means. Um, but I just thought it was interesting that they've all had a huge identity shift. In fact, one of them is 65 years old, and he's got a 4-year-old daughter
yeah,
because he knew back when he was in Guns N' Roses, he watched Slash and the others that had kids never be able to be with their kids. So he didn't want to do that. So here he's
Yeah.
65 years old, but he looks good for his age. He hasn't drank in, I think,
Yeah.
20 years. His wife's in her 40s. It's not like she's 22 or something, which we did assume.
Which we did assume. Which, it is what it is,
Yeah. And he's just living his best life now.
So
but that money.
He was fun to listen to, too.
Yeah.
I can listen to those type of people forever, because I just love the freedom and the authenticity. When you are very authentic with yourself and who you are, you don't have to apologize for anything. He wasn't trying to impress us. He wasn't trying to any of that. He was just being himself. And in doing so, just said whatever he wanted to say. And I just love that. We all should do more of that.
And back in the day, he wasn't himself, right? He was who he thought this rock star person was supposed to be. So he didn't even necessarily relate to himself back then. Now he's found himself and he's in his 60s.
Yeah.
Which I think
it's never too late.
Normal, Dr.
Yeah, it's never too late. And the goal, you guys, is to do it earlier in life. But sometimes you just have to go through the lessons to be able to do that. And even with our kids, raising children, we always think, well, don't make the same mistakes I made, but the majority of them are going to go through their own trials and tribulations and learn it the hard way, just like the rest of us did, because for some, that seems like it's part of the human experience,
It is.
Yes.
It is. It's like Dr.
My son doesn't think I know
about
anything. When I talk to him, he's like,
oh no, we're the stupidest people that walk the earth. Yeah.
It's true. It's so true.
And it's like,
he doesn't even think I know anything about girls. I'm like, dude, I was a girl back in the day dating, so I think I know a little bit. Well, girls are different today. I go, no, they're not. They're the same as they were when I was a kid. They may be dressed differently or have different haircuts, but the experience is the same. So
yes. In fact, they may even have more pressure than we did.
Oh yeah, because we didn't have social media. We didn't have somebody recording our every move. We didn't have somebody doing all of that. I mean, it's like we didn't have that. And I feel bad for young people that have to deal with that and the pressure of always having someone either taking your photo or taking a video of you or whatever. And now with AI, that potentially they could just impersonate you.
Right.
So that's a scary thing. And I feel bad that they had to grow up with that. You know what I mean?
Well, or even like you go on a date, and I was listening to a podcast this morning, and they were talking about how even like you go on a date and you've got to be worried about, are they going to put that you were a bad kisser or that you this or that, you know what I mean? You can't do anything in private anymore.
No,
you've got to be perfect at everything, and nobody's perfect at anything. So it's just.
There's one, I don't know if you guys ever watched the movie Good Will Hunting, but when Robin Williams is talking to the kid that's in the movie, I want to say Mark Wahlberg, that's wrong. It's
Matt.
You know what I'm talking about. Matt Damon, yeah. And he's talking about a girl that he met, and that, she's perfect right now. He doesn't want to ruin that. And Robin Williams says to his, guess what? She's not perfect. And guess what? She's like, maybe you're not. He says, maybe you're worried about. You're perfect right now. You're worrying about ruining that. And he goes, and guess what? She's not perfect either. None of you are. It's whether you're perfect for each other. And that, I always think about that, about the whole perfection thing, because it's like none of us are perfect, just like you said, Kimberly, and we're not supposed to be.
Right.
There is no such thing as perfect. That's a fallacy. That's a myth. That's something that's not even obtainable. But I had a thought process on that too, but I'm definitely going to challenge myself, because this is an area that has been consistent with me, and it impacts relationships for me. Like I don't go out and try to find a companion. In fact, I wouldn't even be a good companion right now, because if I don't love myself, my physical being, then how good am I going to be for somebody else? So it's like, until I kind of resolve that, I'm not going to be the type of mate that I want to be for someone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And, and there's a lot of men that go through the same thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's not just a female experience, for sure.
No. No, not
I
at
think
all.
my son's probably going through it a little bit too, you know?
Yeah, yeah. They feel the pressure, and that's whether it's a heterosexual relationship, a homosexual relationship, whatever. You
Yeah,
know, everybody's feeling not good enough for some reason. And because I just think
absolutely.
there's too many untruths out there. Like you talk about the filters and then this and that. I don't even know how to use a filter because I'm not very techie.
Yeah.
But you know, you can definitely tell when it's like, you know, sometimes I see pictures of people and it's like, hmm, that's not what she looked like yesterday when I saw her, but that's okay. You
I
know.
know. It's the truth. And
Yeah.
I think it's just the area that I really want to focus on for myself to grow personally. And I hope there are others of you out there that, if you feel the same way, we'd love to hear your comment or just say, yeah, I get it. Or whatever, just even a one word comment to show that either, you feel the same way too would be great. Just to feel that. And that's kind of what I'm working on, but I am going to challenge myself. Okay, Kimberly. So what do you think I should do? You think I should just take a photo of myself and post it every day? Should I, or what should I do to kind of challenge myself in this area?
Well, I mean, it definitely came up for you with being in pictures,
Yes,
right? But is it going to cause you more stress than you're going to gain from it?
it's true. Yes.
So, I mean,
I
you need
just,
to weigh that as well. Maybe it's a picture once a week, or you know, you know, a time that you're feeling good once a week, or something. I just, you know, you don't want it to feel daunting either. Even for me, when you got me started to doing those videos, I hated seeing myself on camera. I don't exactly love it now, but I'm more comfortable with it. So and I know it needs to be done. So I just suck it up and do it.
yeah,
And sometimes I just look like a damn wreck, but that's okay because that's it. In the moment where I thought about that I needed to do it, that's when I'm going to do it. And I just kind of, whatever, the message is what I'm trying to get across, not how my makeup looks or my hair looks. So it's the impact that I'm trying to make, which if I'm in a sweatshirt or a hoodie at the time, so be it. So what?
right. I
And
agree.
then
And
I think
you've
if
done so much better at that too.
yes, I have. I have. I'm going to tell myself, yes, I have, because I've made myself. Well, and you've helped push me to do that because the message is what matters.
Yes.
And the
I was just
message, I
typing it
feel
in and see if I can do it says, okay, here's a simple 14-day picture challenge. Day 1 through 3, take one photo of yourself each day. Don't post it. No deleting, just keep it. And it's get
okay.
used to seeing yourself without judgment. So for 3 days, you're supposed to do a private photo. Day 4, 5, and 6, take photos from different angles with different lighting or environments. You'll start to see that a photo is just a moment, not your identity. And then it says 7, 8, 9, capture a moment. Take a photo while doing something you enjoy, walking, laughing with someone. Shift from appearance to experience is what it's
Okay.
saying. And then day 10, 11, 12, one photo you slightly like. Look through your photos and find one thing you appreciate, maybe your smile, eyes, posture, or something like that. And then the last 2 days, share one saved photo. So share a photo with a trusted friend or small group, not for validation, but to challenge the fear. So I'm not allowed to criticize myself out loud. There's no deleting of photos immediately, no comparing to others, and focus on curiosity instead of judgment. So it's like,
Okay.
it's almost like you're challenging to study the photos and that kind of thing.
Do you feel comfortable with that?
Yeah. And it says a powerful question to ask yourself is, would I judge a friend the way I'm judging myself right now?
No, you would
Like
not.
if I saw a photo of my friend, would I be judging them the way that I'm judging myself? That's what it said.
Right. But and you would not be.
No, I wouldn't.
So maybe can you put that challenge in the show notes so that
I'm
others
going
can do
to.
that?
I am
And
going to.
then
I'm going to put it in the
also,
show notes. Yeah.
Yeah, and if anybody's, because we know that other people are dealing with this or have, and if you've gotten on the other side of that, we'd love for you to share how you did that
Yeah.
and
And even my
what
friend
changed it.
Jessica and I talked about this on Monday. She lives in Denver as well. And so I'm going to challenge her with the same thing because she said the same thing. She goes,
Yeah.
"Oh God, I never take photos of myself." And now absolutely. And she's actually had a huge weight loss in her life and she still doesn't take photos of herself. Because
But you know what?
I have some weird goggles. I have some kind of weird goggles going on because when I look at myself in a photo, I look very different than what I believe I look like. So I have a perception of what I look like when I go out in the world, with whatever I'm wearing, whatever. And then I see a photo and go, that is completely different than what I thought I looked like. And it's not even just about, I guess it is, I don't know. But the thing is, that's been ever since I was a kid. So now when I was a teenager, I used to look at photos of myself and I thought, God, you are fat and gross. And now that I am, 55, I'm going to be 57 here in 3-4 months. I look at those photos when I was a teenager and I was not heavy. I was in shape. I played softball. I ran. I was in shape. But my thought of myself at that time was that I looked gross. Now I look at those photos and think how beautiful I was. So am I doing the same thing now? And number two, does the inside of me have no value? Does the person that is a kind person that cares about people and is a lovable, caring person that has no value? It's only this physical body that has value. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know I shared these with you, but I recently did a boudoir shoot, and Lauren Schwab did it, and she made me just feel so beautiful and empowering. And when I looked at those pictures, like they made me cry because I know the journey, it's going to make me cry now, that it took me to get from where I was to where I am now. And even there's times that I still look in the mirror with those old glasses on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where I see that the rolls and the, and I got to remind myself, what am I doing? You know what I mean? That is not how I look anymore. But that's body dysmorphia, right? We just, so it's psychological and it's something you've got to work through. But I remember when we were going through the photo shoot, she would show me some of the pictures and I was like, holy crap, that's me. She's like, yeah, that's you, and
I only photos and they're amazing.
There was 110 photos. I picked out 14 of them. And so yesterday I sent away 3 of them to be made up on canvas and I'm going to hang them in the house in different areas,
Why
and
not?
it's like, just to remind myself, you know what I mean? Of just the work on the inside and the outside. And it was, if anybody's thinking about doing a shoot like that, I encourage you to do it because I did one maybe 12 years ago for my husband. And then this one I happened to bid on at an auction and won it. And it was a total different experience than the one previously. But I'm also in a different state of mind now too.
Yes.
The other pictures look good too, but these ones I just felt just so powerful and so I don't know. It was just different, but it was a very uplifting experience. So if anybody's thinking about it, do it. I think you'll absolutely love it. And Lauren Schwab is who I had here in Denver, and I love her story too. She was in corporate America, and she had a boudoir shoot done, and it totally changed her life. She literally quit her job, bought a camera, learned how to take photos, and that's now her business because she felt so empowered by that session. So, I mean, it's keep your mind open, keep your heart open, and, follow what feels good to you. And that's going to change over the decades too. What felt good, 10 years ago may not feel good now, and that's okay.
And the thing is too, that even this isn't just about the weight for me. This is a mental thing for me because even when I was skinnier, I still felt it. I still had body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Even if
Yeah.
even when I was lighter, I still looked at myself and go, ugh. And I still had insecurities around my body, even though I was lighter. So it's not just about the weight for me. This is all mental stuff. This
Oh
is
yeah.
all in my brain.
Oh yeah.
It's not just physical.
It's an inside job.
I've always had
Yeah.
such respect for people, for women that just love their body no matter what size they were. I've always had respect for that. And and I just like, I've never been that person. In fact, you rarely even see me outside of 3/4 sleeves like this. Like, you rarely, even in the summertime, you're gonna see me in sleeves like this that go over your elbows. That is how severe it is for me in that way. Is you never see me in shorts or anything that shows my legs. You usually see me in 3/4 sleeves like this, even in the summertime. That is the reality of the situation. And I just, in the summertime, I just try to find, those, not canvas. What are the pants that you can wear that kind of are
The
breathable?
capris?
No, like linen, the pants that are real breathable that you can wear, that are long, that are really breathable. And usually I wear that, and like a very really thin top or something like that. So yeah, it's interesting to me. So yeah, I'm focusing on that. I'm a challenge. So guys, I'm going to start posting this every day on social media. I'm going to do an update on a little post about each of these days for me. And I'm going to see if you want to take the challenge with me. I'm also going to put it in the show notes here if you want to take the challenge with me. And again, this isn't about this one identity thing. Like Kimberly said, her identity around some things in her life and how she saw herself and related to, different things was completely different than her physical being. It wasn't about her for her. Yes. So you have other things besides the physical appearance thing. But I think a lot of women have issues around their physical appearance because we're conditioned that way.
Yeah.
Men too, like you said, men too. But so I'm going to put in the show.
Yeah, I know that
go ahead, Kimberly.
I'm not sure if anymore, but I know it's something my son had struggled with too. And my son's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Inside and out. And, male, female, it just doesn't matter.
It doesn't. No, I agree with you.
Society, says we're supposed to be one way, and that's what we're conditioned to think that we're supposed to look like or how we're supposed to be. And it's not reality.
It's not reality. So we're gonna try to change this, you guys. We're gonna work on it. We're gonna grow together. So I would love it if you were up for the challenge. I would love it if you comment. I would love it if you share this out and challenge other people. And you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok. And then I'm gonna start posting at least 2-3 times a week about this challenge and how it's going for me. And maybe I can help you stay on task and targeted if you want to do it as well. But we're here for you. We love that you come back if you are watching this and listening. We love that. And we hope that we will see you in the future. We've got some really good guests coming up in the future that Kimberly has invited, which I think is going to be really powerful.
Next week's going to be.
Yes. So it's going to be exciting.
Yes.
We're recording 2 episodes back to back next week that we're going to share in the previous weeks. But it's going to be exciting and we're going to be moving forward. So looking forward to it.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Bye. Have a great week.